Hey friends, it's Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead, and I'm here today with
Me.
Adam. This is my husband, and you've seen him before on a few videos here on my channel. And after our last Q&A, there were several comments that requested that I include Adam in more of these Q&A videos. The problem is he isn't home a lot during the week to do that, and then the weekends get very busy with chores and just family time here on the homestead, so there isn't a lot of time to film these Q&As. But I don't know if you could tell in my voice, we are sick this week, and due to this sickness, everybody is home for the week. And since Adam was home, we thought that we would shoot another Q&A. So if that's something that interests you, why don't you stick around and you can get to know Adam a little better. All right, so what I did for this Q&A is I put a question box on Instagram and I asked people to submit questions, things that they wanted to hear from Adam about, and I just ran through quickly and picked some of the most frequently asked questions, and we're just gonna hop right into it, and I'm gonna try my very best not to interrupt and not to put my input in. In our relationship, I tend to be a little bit more of the talker, and Adam is definitely much more of the listener. But we're going to switch roles today, and I'm going to listen and let him talk. So, all right, let's just go ahead and get started. What is your most valuable habit, and how has it helped you with fathering?
I am task oriented. I like lists. I like to get them done. I like everything to be in order. I think in other videos I've talked about I didn't want to do hodgepodge fencing. It had to be straight fences. So I wouldn't call it rigid, but you can't cross my line.
You're disciplined.
Very disciplined. Very disciplined. And I think that goes well with the kids. They know where the line is. And I think that is a valuable habit that I bring to the relationship of parenting. It keeps people in line, keeps me in line. I need discipline. So I would say that is the biggest help in raising a large family.
Definitely, and it's necessary because I'm probably the opposite. I'm more of like loosey-goosey, kind of, less routine, less rigidity. And so it's good in a relationship to have one person at least that has that kind of discipline to keep things on track. So, yep, I appreciate that about you. All right. Someone asked, "What is your favorite date that we've been on together?" And another person asked, "What's your ideal romantic date?" They're probably looking for ideas for some date time ideas. So, why don't you go ahead?
Thanks. I didn't review these questions before we had this. It was very quick. Let's see. Well, recently, we just been going up on dates. Before COVID, we started going like 2 a year. Actually getting away from the house and letting the kids go. I rented a skating rink. So it was just her and I. We skated and then we went out to eat. And then we came back here and had time to ourselves for like an hour or two. That was so much fun.
It really was.
I mean, that was so much fun. I like to be active on my dates. I don't like a dinner and a movie. The last one we did a bike ride. I don't know, 6-8 miles, something like that. And then came home, showered, and went out to eat.
Went to a gun range too.
Oh, and went to a gun range. Yeah. But I like to be active. So ideally, if I could do those things again, that'd be great. I don't like to spend too much time away from the home. We went to Maine. We drove to Maine when I proposed. That was fun. Well, on the way there, it wasn't too much fun. But when we got there, it was a lot of fun. But with everything we have going on, we have about a 4-hour window to try to get our dates in. And the best time for us to do it is during the day. Morning chores are done. The kids are all dressed. We drop them off somewhere. We go do our activity and whatever we want to do. We get back for night chores and bedtime. And so for us, that's our ideal date night right now.
Right, it's during the day.
Date day.
So yeah, if you're doing a date during the day, you need to be doing something active,
Yeah.
Yeah, we've gone bowling. What are some of the other recent dates that we did? I'm trying to think. Oh, we went to a museum. we like to go do things
Mhm.
like that. Go places. Yeah. A lot of it probably has to do with my dietary challenges. We can't go to a lot of restaurants. And then just personal preferences. We don't enjoy a lot of movies that kind of come out in the theater. And if we're going to watch a movie, we would probably prefer to watch it at home in our PJs with, you know,
With food.
with food or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's fun stuff.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree. That was a fun date. When he rented out the skating rink, he surprised me. I didn't know where we were going, and it was very romantic and nice. And he got to pick the music that was playing, and it was actually really affordable. And I think it's because this was during the week. A lot of skating rinks, kids are in school. There isn't much business for these skating rinks, and so you could get a really good deal on renting the place out for just an hour or two at a time. They want the business during that time. So
he was going in to clean anyway, so he just said, "What do you do it for, like $50?"
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
like $50 for, was it an hour or two?
It was 2 hours, but we couldn't skate that long.
Yeah, so
We
like
got
for 2
tired.
hours, we got to rent out the whole thing to ourselves.
For $50. But he was already cleaning. He ran the DJ booth a little bit, just played a lot of the 70s and 80s things and stuff like that. So, it was fun.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, we're trying. Our kids are getting a little older now, so date days can be a little more frequent as they get older and can babysit. That'll be nice for us. But for now, we're lucky if we get 2 dates a year or so.
Yep.
Okay. So a lot of people, I know I've gotten this question a lot on Instagram over the years, and it was frequently asked today, was a lot about our home churching. And if you guys don't know that we do church at home and why we do church at home, I will link a video in the description that has some answers to frequently asked questions about our family. And you can get the whole spiel on why we do that in that video. But people want to know specifically how Adam plans our Sunday Bible sessions. Other people wanted to specifically know how you make those Bible lessons understandable for the wide range of children that we're dealing with, because we have, our youngest is 18 months and our oldest is 14 and a half. So, he has to appeal to all of them during that time. So you can go ahead and talk about that.
That's a great one because it changes all the time. If we have something going on in the family where I feel like it needs to be addressed spiritually, I pray about it and I start to read different scriptures that I let the Holy Spirit kind of say, you know what, that's it. Or sometimes at night I'm thinking about what I need to read and a book pops in my head. It's like 2 Peter. So I'm like, oh, okay, so then I'll read that and I'm like, we'll do that. The top 4 kids, they help us read. And as they read, I stop them and explain some words if they don't understand it. We used to have a lot of different versions of the Bible. Now we're kind of at one version so that we all can understand it the easiest. That's really it. There's some meat that we give them, but a lot of it is milk right now. And then we relate it to what's going on in the world. It's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of how I would do it myself, except not as in depth.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it could be that morning that I change my mind. I'm like, nope, something's going on. We just need to read some words that are in red. So we jump on that. It's just kind of fluid. As long as I'm not reading the same book the second weekend, the next weekend, then we go from there. I try to do a little bit of the history of it prior to when it was written, and it's almost like a school lesson.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we run it, and we get the kids involved by them reading and asking questions and pausing and saying, "What do you think that means?" And then Jess will put her input. I'll put my input. Not always is it the same input.
Yeah.
Not always do we agree. But it's not about, we're not disagreeing about salvation issues. It's just about what they meant at that time.
Kind of context, historical context, or just kind of our take on interpretation of words or whatever.
Yep. That's kind of how we run it, and it's everybody sits down and everybody seems to enjoy it because they're all I don't want to say intrigued, but they're all
active participants. They're all engaged with it. Like you said, it is a lot more like a school lesson. It's just kind of an extension of the homeschool life that we live. The kids know that when we sit down and read a book or we sit down and have a talk, there's usually educational benefit to it, and they're engaged and they participate. And so our worship time is no different, and I love that. Usually on Sunday mornings we eat breakfast, and then Adam will, while I'm cleaning up breakfast, he'll kind of go and prepare. He kind of prays and reads through, what he's going to share, and then we all meet together at 11 o'clock on the dot, and that's when we start. The 3 littlest boys are generally given like a coloring page or an activity, and they sit at a table in the room and will color. Sometimes Benjamin, the youngest, will need a snack so that he doesn't, make a lot of noise or something. So he'll sit there with his snack and listen, and it's great.
So one of the things that I have to work on is beforehand is I pray to have my heart right before we start, because there's always interruptions, there's always noise, there's food being thrown or someone crying about something. So I have to have my heart right before we start, or it becomes a negative lesson. And that's really the hardest part when we're going through it, is to not snap during Bible time. And so when we get through it, it's really good time. About an hour, 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes. All depends on how the questions go.
Yeah, because it is an engaged conversation. Sometimes the children are really into it, and so the conversation lasts,
a long time.
Yeah, it's great. I've seen great fruit in our children since we began this. And I think what you said, any homeschooling family that has a wide range of ages can probably relate to that. Wherever there are toddlers with homeschooling, there's going to be distractions. And it's interesting. Now, Adam, since we've been doing the home church, probably has a good idea of what homeschool days are like for us now, seeing what it's like with the little boys. Yeah. But the key to that is trying to get them set up with something to entertain them before we begin, so that full-on chaos doesn't ensue, and that goes a little better. Yeah. Okay, so kind of on that topic, someone asked, how can they encourage their husband to do more family Bible time? If it's a wife, I had another question about how can wives encourage their husbands to lead their families spiritually? That's a tough one, but do you have any input?
Well, all I can say is what led me to do more of it was my wife asking for more. During the day, I'm always, not always, but I talk about the Bible and what's right and what's wrong, morally and physically and everything. And then it goes back to Scripture a lot of times. So it just kind of makes sense that we started home churching. But I would say, I don't know if it was really encouragement that she was giving me, and I wouldn't call it nagging. I would call it in between. And it pushed me to start doing it. I needed to do it, but I have a list that I have to get done, and chores came before a lot of things, and I had to knock out time, and this is working out really well for us. Yeah. It really is.
I think something that I've learned as the wife too is if you want your husband to step up and lead, you have to let him do that. And I think that we've talked about this maybe in a previous video, that it's really hard as a homeschool mom. You're always in teacher mode, you're always in homeschool mom mode, that to shut that part of your brain off and let your husband take over and lead the lesson and lead the charge is really hard, but it's really important, because God did place him as the spiritual leader of our family, and I want that time for him to be the leader. And I think there are times where I overstep my boundaries and I forget to switch off homeschool mom mode, and I almost want to take control of the conversation and lead the discussion, and it's very off-putting, I'm sure, for you, because you've planned a lesson already and he already knows where he's taking the discussion. And so I think for wives, what I would tell you is to make sure that you're letting him lead. You just have to, if you want to address something, you get to do it 5 days of the week during homeschool time. I mean, we have Bible time with the kids every day of the week. That's my time to control the conversation. But this time with him leading Bible time is for him to control the conversation. And so that's really important.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a tough one. Some of you guys don't know that we have had 2 miscarriages during our parenting journey. Well, I don't think he wants to talk about this.
Okay.
We had a miscarriage between Elizabeth and Levi. Those are our 4th and 5th children. And that one, we lost the baby when I was 12 weeks along is when I started losing the baby and lost it when I was 13 weeks. Last October, we lost another baby. I was 10, 11 weeks along when the loss occurred. And so I was very open about my journey on Instagram, and I believe I did a video here about that. And so someone wanted to ask, in what ways can a husband support his wife in the grief of losing a baby?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. The only thing I did was to be there and to listen. That's it. I am a person who does not like to talk about my problems. I feel worse when I talk about my problems. I would rather just move on from my problems. And my lovely wife here needs to talk about all of her problems. No,
Talk. No, I am. I'm a talker. I
And
talk.
You even have to. You think.
I think out loud.
You have to think out loud and everything. But I just have to be there to listen, and just to be there, or take the kids, or just do a few things. I like to do tasks. I like to do things for you, and so sometimes that's what I do.
Yeah, he definitely shows his love through acts of service. So doing those things for me, that's extremely helpful. And for me, just knowing that he cares and knowing that he's showing love, that made me feel better. I think for if there are husbands out there listening, recognizing that what your wife is going through physically is really no different than the birth of a healthy, whole baby. I mean, there is a postpartum period after a miscarriage where the wife needs to take care of herself physically, and she's dealing with hormone crashes, she's dealing with and on top of that, all of the emotions of grief. And so allowing your wife the space to heal physically by helping with the children, as well as to heal emotionally, that's really important.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's tough.
Well, yeah. And me not burdening you with the normal stuff that I burden you with,
You're such a burden.
I know. Where's my coffee? No, I'm just...
That's why we have kids. They can get your coffee now.
Oh, okay, yeah. No. I just got to go out of my way of not, of doing more.
Yeah.
More of some of your stuff, more of mine, but be pleasant about it, because one little thing can set you off, or, to upset you.
Mm-hmm. By setting me off, you mean like making me cry? Like,
right.
Not set me off like...
No, not No. And that is my kryptonite.
Yeah.
Crying.
Yeah, that's really tough. If I get upset, then he can't handle it. I mean...
It's tough.
It is, but...
Yeah.
I need to do better about not burdening you with that. But
that'd be great.
Yeah. All right, so kind of on that topic, because I'm an oversharer and I talk out loud and talk about my feelings, a lot of people want to know, how do you feel about me sharing so much on social media? So much about you, so much about the kids, so much about our life.
At first, I didn't like it. I didn't want everybody to know what was going on. But I saw the fruit of the Instagram and the people that she was touching and reaching out to. And also, I saw a change in you of having that outlet and needing to communicate with other people like you. We've always tried to reach out and look for community, and I think you found it there in this stage of our life.
Yeah, because it's hard to have physical community when you're so busy with homesteading and homeschooling and so many children.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I saw a change in you. So then I stepped back and said, okay, do what you want, but I don't need to be in it. And then that changed when she started putting me in it. And now I don't really care. It doesn't bother me one bit. I am kind of a private person. I don't, but it doesn't bother me. I just do my normal stuff and go on with my day. I'm not really a big partaker in all of this.
Yeah.
Except for when you want me to sit down and do a video.
Well, good. So it doesn't bother him, apparently.
Not anymore. No.
All right. So what is your favorite age or stage of children?
I do enjoy, like 2 through 5 because everything's new. And if they're upset, you can make them happy, with the snap of a finger. Distraction. And I like all that. I like my oldest boys, where they're at. I like where my girls are at. I'm kind of liking all of them now. Except for about 0 to 6 months. I like to hold them, but they don't really interact with me that much. I like to play with my kids. I like to show them things and see their eyes light up from, whoa, that's new, and stuff like that. So, from 1 to, what we got, 14 and a half is my favorite right now. 1 to 14 and a half.
I understand that because I see value in every stage. I even see value in the 0 to 6 months, but that's because I am capable of making...
Oh, there's value.
Well, I'm capable of making a baby happy by nature. I can nurse a baby and get them to sleep and stuff. But my mothering style has made it very hard for you to bond with itty-bitty babies because I'm nursing on demand, I'm sleeping with the baby. There's not much you can do to make a baby happy. Yeah, I've always said he's not very hands-on for the first year of life or so, but after that, he's the best dad. I said it a million times. I get home from work. You are. I get home from work. You get home from work.
I get home from work.
Excuse me. And it's like I'm off duty. Once I get dinner cleaned up, he's willing. He takes the kids, and if it's nice out, they're outside playing. If it's not nice out, you're upstairs watching a video or playing with the kids or doing whatever, and it's wonderful that you're such an engaged dad. That reminds me, there was another question on here that said, so there was a question, how do you summon the energy to be engaged with kids after a full day's work?
A lot of coffee. A lot of coffee. I drink a lot of coffee. Also, I exercise. My job, I don't do a lot of manual labor at work. So I'm not physically tired. I might be mentally tired from what I've had challenges with at work. So when I get home, if it's not too chaotic, I can jump right into it because I have the energy to do it. A lot of times I will exercise when I get home from work. I don't exercise beforehand. I get home from work and I'll do some hip and back routines and then have the kids, or they can do them with me. And then we'll go out to the garage, or we'll do some things. I have about as much energy for the first couple hours after work until about 8 o'clock as I do at 9 o'clock in the morning. But it's close. But my diet's better and a lot of coffee.
Yeah. Exercise helps. He's an energetic person just because he takes good care of himself. And that exercise, I don't know if we've mentioned that in a video. Maybe we have. When he said doing a hip and back routine, the reason that's so important for him is because he was in a really bad car accident about 6 months before I met him. Do you want to explain?
Back in 03.
Back in 03. And
there's a video about it.
Did we talk? Yeah, we talked about that before, but I guess you could give the shorthand version for anybody who's new and hasn't seen that.
A telephone pole stopped our car at 55 miles an hour. The telephone pole was sitting on the passenger side door, in the door where I was, and my femur went through my pelvis, and my head of my femur was sitting on my bladder. Pelvis was crushed. 13 screws, a bicycle chain, and they had to put my acetabulum back together.
It's not an actual bicycle chain, just a chain that
looks like a bicycle chain.
A bicycle chain.
And like 14 screws, titanium screws all through the pelvis and everything. So I get scar tissue, and I just have to do a lot of mobility and a lot of strengthening to my right side to be more symmetrical. And then I had back issues because of that down the road. Then I had back surgery. And now I've found some routines to where I can chop wood, I can lift stuff. The springtime, since it's real, do a lot of work. Yeah, well, it's a lot of work. So my body, and I don't work out as much in the wintertime as I do in the summer and the spring. It hurts a little bit, but then by the time fall happens and I'm still doing all the same work, I don't have a lot of issues. A few weekends here and there if I do a lot of heavy wheelbarrowing, but if I don't do something, if I don't exercise at least 3 times a week or do mobility, everything just starts tightening up. And so I do a lot of exercise. And then it becomes kind of a passion. So, you know, I even do a lot of calisthenics. I teach a calisthenics class at the university. So a lot of pull-ups and teaching how to do muscle-ups and front levers. Not that I can do those anymore, but I can teach you how to do them and a few things like that, yeah.
Yep. All right, now let's just do some quick fun questions. So, what pistol is your go-to carry?
Right now, it's a Glock 43X with 15-round mags.
What was it before that?
I switch it up all the time. Then it was a Glock 43. Then it was a Smith & Wesson 7-shot. And then it was a Glock 19 before that. But right now, that's what I've...
Okay.
43X.
Okay. Is it harder raising girls or boys?
Boys. The reasoning is, at this stage of the game, my girls haven't been through puberty. They haven't gone, so I don't know yet. But boys hurt themselves, and emergency room visits, and they're rougher and they hurt themselves. I'm trying to keep them alive, and my girls do a really good job of not hurting themselves.
Yeah, they keep themselves alive.
So right now, boys, but we also have 5 of them compared to 2.
Our girls are really low maintenance too. They're just easy.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah. Maybe they've learned to be just because the boys demand so much attention. All right, what's your favorite chore?
Early summer, I like to mow. I like chopping wood. Those are probably my favorite 2. And then if I had to go, what my least favorite is, at the end of summer, mowing. And
the novelty's worn off.
Anything that poops. I don't like to handle diapers. Right now, I don't like to handle the puppies.
But you're doing it.
Well, yeah, well, it's a chore.
Yeah.
It's a real chore. That kind of stuff. I'd rather do manual labor than any of that.
But the chickens and ducks are your favorite.
Yeah, well, I don't do too much with that
I know,
stuff
that's
at
what
all.
I was joking. That's probably his least favorite would be anything related to chicken poop.
Fecal matter.
Yep. All right, if you could change your career to anything, what would it be?
You know, really, I have the ideal job right now. I work in a fitness center with young people. I get to teach a boxing class in the wintertime, and I get to teach calisthenics in the spring, summer, and fall. If I have to leave my office, I can just do it and then make up the time, or, you know, I have a lot of flexibility at my job.
Universities have great holiday
and
schedules.
Holidays, you know, and I can still come over here and get back here in time to do stuff. Honestly, I don't, unless I could make, you know, unless I could be another influencer that I can stay home and do a few things, but it's not a huge interest of mine or passion of mine. Then maybe I would do that because I could be home and do a few things like that. But no, I think I actually have the ideal job for our family at this time and for me.
Yep. Whatever came next would have to be way better than what we've got.
Yeah, for me to leave. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So kind of on that topic, do you have any advice for husbands that are working outside of the home who want to homestead? Can you speak to the specific challenges that are working a full-time job while trying to like operate what we have going on here?
So we moved here, what, 5 years ago?
6.5.
6 years ago?
Yeah.
So Gabriel was 8?
7.5.
7.5. We did all the chores at first, but then they were old enough to start doing some things for us. And as long as I followed up with those chores, even to today, to follow up saying, hey, they're out of hay. We need to add more. You know, we need to do this. How much feed do we have? You know, I have to rely on everybody else so that I can run and get the feed for all the animals, because I don't have the time. I could probably make the time, but it would drive me a little crazy. I'd rather depend on some people to say, hey, we have 3 bags left. I'll get more. Stock up so we never run out. Don't do too much too quick. That's I had to rein you in. I know. So we did a little bit at a time. We did it. We got this fence, this pasture, and then the next year we did another pasture on top of that. And we got 1 dog, and then we got the male, you know, a year and a half later, and you know, we did meat birds 1 year. We don't do everything at one time. It's just overwhelming. And then I don't enjoy the work, and the kids aren't going to enjoy the work, and you're not going to enjoy the work. And when I'm gone, I have to rely on you and the kids to do it, and that's a lot of burden. So a lot of these ideas outside of the dogs, most of these ideas, you push to have done, and then and I said, okay, yes, we can do that now, and then we can do this now, because I know I'm going to have to do more, and if I don't like doing it, then we're gonna butt heads. And when I get off work, I don't overwork myself. There's a few weekends I will overwork myself, but I don't, because I have to have time for the family. And if I don't make time for the family, and I do a lot here, yeah, look, I got all this great stuff, but what's my family?
Right.
You know, I just push them to the side. I don't want to do that.
I think, not to interrupt you because I told myself I wasn't going to, but I think something that's important for husbands that work outside of the home, if they can afford to do it, is to remember that you don't have to do everything yourself. I think there's a homesteader mindset where I'm going to build every fence myself, and I'm going to build every structure myself, and I'm going to butcher every animal myself. It's all about this self-sufficiency. But one of the things when you work outside of the home is that your time becomes more valuable because you have less of it to be home. And so you really have to sit and weigh the pros and cons of, do I want to eat up all of my evening or weekend time doing that job myself, or because I'm working outside of the home and have the extra money, does it make more sense to hire that out and have somebody else get it done for me? And I feel like you're really good at assessing those kinds of things,
balancing
it out, because like you said, we don't want to use up all your weekend time working. We want to be able to make fun memories with the children, because that's the whole point of doing all of this is for the children.
We outsource our health care because I have a job. We outsourced most of our fencing, I mean, nearly all of our fencing. So we've outsourced a few things over the years. I pick up a couple loads of wood every fall because I didn't cut enough. And I could cut enough, but I would be eating too much into the family time. But I could cut enough. I mean, it'd be easy to do it.
Well, it's the same thing with me. Like, I could grow more of our own food, but I would do that at the expense of time with the children. Yeah. And so you have to figure out where your line is, like doing enough.
And I have to find balance. You know, I used to hunt more. I used to go deer hunting more and squirrel hunting more and a few things like that. And even though the kids are old enough to do that, we have to almost do it on our property because of the time constraints. I mean, if I drive 40 minutes away to a woods or 35 minutes, whatever, to the woods that I can hunt in, it's not a real productive woods for that, but there are some in there. But I could be spending all morning, go back, or the evening, and that's a lot of time away from the house when I could be cutting wood, playing with the kids, snuggling my wife. But So I haven't hunted, and I enjoy it a lot. I love sitting in a tree stand for a couple hours, listen to a woods wake up. I just love it. But I haven't done it for a couple years. It's not at the top of my priority.
Yep. And I think that's the thing. Like, if you were a full-time homesteader and were home all the time, those are the things he would do way more of and probably love it because he has more time. His time isn't as valuable.
Right.
And so I think being a working dad or a working mom away from the homestead, you just have to be really good at balancing, what projects are worth it and what are going to force you to sacrifice limited time with your family.
Now, if I had one child that was huge into hunting, huge into it, well then I would make time for it because that's what we do. Our oldest son loves computers and editing and stuff like that, so we spend time watching his videos and doing all that stuff. And David likes bacon, so we get the opportunity. But if I had a child that said, I want to go hunt deer because rabbits are fun, but I want to get into that, then I would have to make time, not have to, but I would get to make time to do something that I really enjoy. Even though I show them how to hunt, we do a few things, and they said, yeah, that'd be great to do that, but they're not nagging at me to do that. They're nagging me to do something else.
Yeah, and I think that's something that you're good at too, is that if it is a task that's going to pull you away from the family, you always try to include at least one child in
Someone goes with me.
So that it isn't a waste of his family time. Like someone is getting the benefit of that time, and he kind of alternates which child is going, based on interest or whoever he hasn't spent time with in a while. And so that's something that fathers or mothers that work can do too, is just always include a child.
Right. Yeah. Pick your favorite one.
Pick
your favorite one and go to the store with me.
He always jokes with me. He says, okay, pick your favorite one.
Yeah, they can go to the store with me, and they all look at her. Pick me. I'm your favorite. I'm your favorite.
A favorite. All right, so let's wrap this up. One last question I got is, what are you most excited about in 2022? So we already did a video on kind of our goals, our homestead goals for 2022, but this is just in general with anything. What are you most excited about this year?
I have not really thought about it too much, honestly. I'm trying to get through tax season. I'm trying to get through this week and next week. I haven't thought about, I don't really have huge goals for 2022. It's kind of like what happens next. What pops up that I have to spend money on. And if we have extra money, then maybe there's an extra project. But if not, I'm looking forward to summertime, cooking out on the grill. Hopefully have a livestock trailer, so I'm not trying to look for a livestock trailer at the last minute. But really, outside of that, I'm just 1 week at a time.
Yeah, I mean,
honestly,
we kind of joke about this, that when you have 7 kids and you leave a lot of your family planning and a lot of planning up to the Lord, you're just kind of in survival, roll with the punches mode. I mean, we don't make a lot of plans because we don't know what tomorrow could bring. Tomorrow could bring another pregnancy, another baby. Tomorrow could bring no more and we're moving on to the next phase. Tomorrow could bring an opportunity that could fall into our lap to start some new project we didn't even think of. We're just kind of open to it all and whatever happens. But yeah, I'm with you. Like, we just need to get through this month. Right now we need to get through this sickness.
Yeah, I'm pretty good now. So.
Yeah, I don't know if you tell. I'm pretty rough, but yeah, we're getting there. We'll get through this and then.
Yeah.
So, anyways, thank you. That was fun.
Yes, it was.
It was. See, it's not so bad talking, is it? I have to say, it's awkward. I remember when I made my first couple videos, it's awkward talking to a camera as if you're talking to a bunch of people. But then anybody who is a YouTuber, you kind of can relate to this. Like, after a while, it just becomes second nature because you recognize that you are kind of speaking to an audience. But I'm sure it's still awkward for you. Is it kind of weird?
Yeah. No, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so we'll just need to get him doing this more, and then it'll get easier for him.
If I know the questions ahead of time, maybe it'll be easier.
Yeah, next time I won't spring them on you. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
All right. So, anyways, we're gonna get back to it here and check on the kids. So hopefully you found this fun, getting to know Adam a little bit better. I don't want you to worry about us. I mentioned that we're not feeling good, and you can probably hear it in my voice, but we are doing just fine. We are on the mend, and all the children are healthy. Praise the Lord. And so look forward to my video coming out this Sunday. More of our pantry challenge meals. I've been having fun putting those together, and he's been having fun eating the meals. And all right, so with that, we're going to say goodbye. Hope you are having a blessed week, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.